Hey guys, Jeff here from Whip the Botanical, and welcome back to my garden. So today I've just come out here to do a few odd jobs, and I thought that I would talk a little bit about what the plan is for the courtyard and what I'm aiming to do and how I'm going to utilise the space to grow as much food as I can in this little area. So in my introduction video I mentioned that this space was 3 meters wide by 6 long. Now there is a big portion of that isn't really growing space. I've got an outdoor setting. I've got a little, well, probably about a quarter or so of the courtyard on the north side is probably too shady to grow most things. In summer I can probably grow some leafy greens and stuff there, but I'm not going to grow any like big crops there, especially because there's a syzygium screen on the other side of the fence that's just getting bigger and casting more shade into the courtyard. So yeah, I'm going to talk about some of the things I want to grow, where I want to grow them, how I want to do it, and the spaces I'm going to be using. So this over here really is going to be one of the main growing spaces. So you sort of see the net stuff in front of me. That's where I've got my sort of soft fruits. I've got strawberries and blueberries at the moment. I've also got a citrus tree, a little dwarf mandarin, but it's probably not going to fruit this year, I don't think. So but this is sort of going to be one of the main spots along this fence. It gets pretty decent light, pretty good sunlight throughout the year pretty much. So what I'm going to do is I've got this raised bed that I made that I'm currently in the process of emptying all the soil out of. I'm going to refurbish it. It's going to be moved against this fence, and then I'm going to I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet. I might just use some bamboo stakes and stuff. I'm going to make kind of like a bit of a trellis along the back so I can grow climbing plants up the back of it, and I can have smaller crops in front of it, things like salads and leafy greens and things like that. So it's going to be one of the main spaces. And then next to it I should have a bit of space. You can see where the fence changes colour. That's a bit of a rain shadow, so that's where the eave of the house comes out. So next to it I'll probably have a little bit of space for some pots or grow bags or something like that to do some other crops in. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with that space yet, but I probably will utilise it for growing something. And in front of me here we have my little fruit section. Like I said before, it's currently not really optimally set up. So there's what is it, 2, 4, 6, 8, there's 8 pots. Well, there's 9 pots if you include the citrus, but there's 2 blueberries and then 6 strawberry pots. Now I'm going to these pots are probably way too big for strawberries. That's just what I had laying around, so I use them for now. But I am going to update this so that I can really maximise this space. I'm only going to use that same footprint. I'm just going to keep the blueberries in the pots they're in. They may even go into a slightly larger pot at some point. But strawberries I'm going to condense down to smaller pots so I can get a lot more in there, a lot more, make better use of the space there and try and hopefully get bigger harvests. I've actually got a few fruits on there at the moment coming through. It's the reason they're netted, because the bowerbirds love to come in here and steal them even before they're ripe, which I was letting happen for a while because I was only really getting 1 or 2 fruits here and there, and it didn't really worry me. But now that I'm getting a good flush of fruit, I've netted them off, so hopefully I can get a good little harvest of strawberries this year. So I've got this plant here. I've got a few different things around. There's also this what's the name, Gophra in front of me here, Gophra floribunda. This is an Indigophra australis, so they call it native indigo. It's in the pea family, so it's a fabaceae plant. It gets these really nice pink flowers. It's actually got buds coming on now, so that'll flower again soon. So this is really the next space. You can't really grow anything in here. When I first moved in to this place, you could, because the syzygiums up behind me here were much smaller, and there's got quite a lot. I actually grew cucumbers here. That's how much light was here. And I grew cucumbers and tomatoes here, but now it's way too shady. But obviously there's a clothesline there. It doesn't really get a huge amount of use because the lavender's being hacked back at the moment. I gave it a pretty hard sort of cut back, but generally when that's in flower, this is just covered in bees here, and I don't like to disturb them by hanging my clothes out here. I've also managed to get a few inside with me doing that because they get on my clothes and then I fold them up and end up in the house. So normally we just use a clothes area in a different part of the courtyard. But what I'm going to do here is this is my main compost bin at the moment. It's got wood on it. It's been raining. So I just use these bins. They're just a plastic bin. I drill holes in the side of them, and they actually work really well for compost. They're good if you don't have, like if you've only got a small space. I'm going to do a video on them. I've got this one here which is ready to go. I've just got to make it. I'm going to do a video about composting in a small space, but for that one it was getting too full, so I've moved on to a second one, and that means I can let this one do its thing and I can start filling this one up, and then I think I might get another one as well, so I have a bit of a cycle going, maybe another two. But it's pretty much what's going to happen in here is just composting. There's a bit of a mess in there at the moment. All the lavender's in there because after I cut it back we had quite a lot of rain. I haven't really had the chance to get out here and clean it up, but a lot of that will go back in under the lavender as a mulch layer, and then whatever I can't get in there I'll get into my compost bins. And if there's a bit too much for that, like if I'm going to mess the balance up, then I'll just mulch it up somewhere else on the garden. So this is sort of the next space I'll be growing in. So got my kitchen window here, you can see the herbs that I did in the other video up there, they're doing really well as well. But next to that window, in between the window and my door, is this brick wall. Currently growing, I've got a grevillea something or other here, which looks like it's maybe getting some buds on it, which is cool. And I've got this kangaroo pot, it's a kermit, has green flowers, but that one I got on clearance, that one I just got for nothing, but I'm going to move them somewhere else, and I'm going to probably do some grow bags along this little wall here, and I'm going to trellis up the wall to grow, sort of similar to what I'm going to do on the fence side. I'm going to grow like things like peas and maybe tomatoes and things that don't need support all the time, but not just things that need support, but I'll grow things like peas and tomatoes along up the back of my taller stuff. I can use that to support them, maybe even some cucumbers and things like that, and then in the front I'll grow smaller crops like my leafy greens and stuff. So that's what I'm going to do here, and it is in a rain shadow because of the eave of the house, but my son is he's 15 months now, and he loves the hose, and he goes out in the watering can, he loves watering, so that's the reason I decided to use that grow space, is because I can't always water the garden with him because it's, it rains and it's quite wet, and a lot of my pots really hold moisture. But here, the way I'm going to set up, I might do some vertical garden stuff as well. There should be somewhere where he can come out and water even if he can't really water the rest of the garden. So this is my third growing space, my propagation area. So in this left one here, this left little greenhouse, I usually just start my vegetable seedlings and things like that. And the one over here I use for growing native plants generally, so I grow them for a number of purposes. One, my own garden, two, for terrariums, like certain species like viola hederaceae and stuff like that. And then also I'm a bush care volunteer, and I grow some of the stuff that we use for revegetation works there. Yeah, so mainly this is the one that I guess this channel will be focusing on, which is the sort of food production one. I have a few things going at the moment. It's the start of winter, so there's not much going, but I've just started some seeds while I'm sorting out the rest of my grow spaces. So I've just got some kale, some spinach, some silver beet, snow peas, and I think some mixed lettuce. And then down the bottom there is a little bit of on the second shot, I don't know if it's in the shot, but there's a little bit of an experiment. I've got some radish in there in little 100ml pots. I'm seeing if I know they'll grow in a greenhouse, but I'm wondering if the 100ml pot will be enough room to grow a few radish in each and have that, because in winter especially I'm not starting as much seed. I'm seeing if I can use that sort of free space in there to grow just some radish and other quicker crops, like even maybe some little lettuces and stuff, like baby cos and stuff, just as a little extra growing space. I'm just wondering if those pot sizes are going to be big enough. I know I can do it in there, just trying to minimise my pot size as much as I can so I can grow as much as possible. So that's kind of the four main growing spaces, I suppose, if you include the fruit section. Another thing I'm going to do is repurpose this wheelbarrow. So it was, like I said in my herb video, it's been a bit of a herb bed. There's some spring onions in here. There's actually some radish here. There's some coriander, that's a perennial basil, which I'm probably just going to get rid of. But this isn't a very practical herb grower, but I've got a few ideas to turn this into something to grow some like native plants and stuff in, some things to attract pollinators. That'll be a little project video that I do when I get around to doing that. And then you'll probably see in the background behind me there's some like wooden things just thrown over there. A lot of that timber over there is recycled fence palings. I'm actually going to use that to create some cool projects for growing food. So like I said before, native plants are kind of my main botanical passion besides growing food, and that's a relatively recent passion of mine. It's only 3 or 4 years I've really delved into native plants. I've always been outside camping and doing things like that, but I never really was super involved with plants, but I am now, and I just love them, especially our local flora. Where I am in Australia, on the South Coast, there's some really amazing plants. So this is why I'm sitting amongst some random natives. So these are just some stuff that I've acquired recently. They were just essentially getting thrown out, so I got them. A lot of these I'm going to be doing some sort of, I guess, botanical experiments on. So this is a Banksia cericifolia, I believe. I can't actually remember which one it is, but I'm going to use it I'm going to try and bonsai that, because I think they make a really cool bonsai. I've got this Melaleuca decora, which is looking a bit sad. I don't know, but I'm going to just try and nurse it back to health, and I might figure out something to do with that. I've got a Eucalyptus pilearis. So this, again, I'm going to attempt to bonsai this. I've actually got a couple of native bonsais already. You might be able to see them on the table there. I've got a Ficus rubiginosa, a mystery eucalyptus, I can't remember what it is, and then a Eucalyptus amplifolia. They're not great as bonsais. I'm not like a bonsai master or anything. I just like them. I like bonsais, and yeah, I like experimenting with native plants. So I've got this casuarina. Is it a Gorka or a Cunninghamiana? So this is a river she oak. I'm going to also be trying to bonsai that, because I've seen some really cool bonsais of them before. I've just got a heap of other stuff. I've got some Flame trees here. I've got some Bacchausias, some Pultoneas, some acacias. I've got some ferns. I've got this, which is a Homolanthus stilingifolius. Folius, wouldn't it? So it's a small leaf bleeding heart plant. It's not a rare plant, but it is a regionally rare plant where I am, so it's pretty cool. I got it off a friend, and yeah, I'm really happy with it. It's looking a bit sad at the moment, which is, I think it might need a bit of water. Despite all the rain, it's been sitting under the eave, so it hasn't got any of that, so I might give it a bit of a drink soon. Yeah, so native plants are my other passion. I will be covering stuff to do with native plants on the channel, because I think that especially wherever you're from, anywhere in the world, you should really be trying to grow some of your local natives, because it's just really good for environmentally speaking. And it's also going to help you in the garden when it comes to growing food, which I'll talk about as well in more videos. But yeah, they attract the native bees and native wasps that feed on pollen as well, native butterflies, things like that are going to help you out in the garden with all sorts of things, from pollination of your vegetables to pest control. They're going to help keep things in balance. So kind of like how you want some ladybirds around if you've got aphids, because ladybugs will eat them, which is cool. They also attract all sorts of things. So they give birds food, and you're going to have a much more productive garden if you've got your own little ecosystem happening, and I think that's really cool to do anyway. Little honeyeaters getting chased by a wattle bird. But yeah, so it's something I'm really passionate about, and I'm going to talk a bit about native plants, growing native plants at home. I'm also going to talk about native plants out in their natural habitats and stuff as well, because like I said, I'm really, really passionate about native plants. So that's it for this one, guys, and probably a bit of a long one, but I hope you stuck with me. And if you did, then as always, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye for now.